A kindergarten teacher named Celeste has an unusual way of teaching, but it works well for her students. Sadly, the school doesn't agree with her methods, and the principal fires her after her probation period. Feeling bad, the principal tells her about a job in Manhattan with a property developer named Richard Tyler, who has 2 kids, Lily and Max, known to be a handful. Later, Celeste tells her friend Renee about losing her job, and Renee tries to cheer her up. She encourages Celeste to see this as a new beginning, maybe a chance to start over in New York and even find love. But Celeste isn't in the mood for romance. When Renee hears that the job is with Richard Tyler, she's surprised, knowing he's a well-known but controversial businessman in New York. Curious, she looks him up online and reads articles about him, none of which sound flattering. The next day, Celeste begins her virtual interview and is surprised to see that Richard's assistant, Josh, is the one conducting it. She wonders what kind of parent doesn't even meet the candidates, but Josh explains that Richard is too busy and will review the recording later. Celeste worries she may have ruined her chance. Later, while updating Renee about the interview, Celeste gets a call from Josh telling her she got the job. Overjoyed, she flies to New York the next day and heads straight to the company. When she arrives, she mistakes Richard for a worker because of his outfit and even drops her luggage on him, asking him to carry it upstairs. Before he can correct her, Renee calls. Celeste tells her she just arrived and hopes her new boss isn't as arrogant as the articles say. Unluckily, Richard overhears everything. At the elevator, Charlie, the head of security, shows up, and Celeste quickly realizes her mistake. Her job hasn't even started, and she's already off on the wrong foot. At the house, Richard introduces his children and hands Celeste a strict schedule filled with their daily activities. She's shocked that the kids have no free time, but Richard insists it's not needed if they want to succeed. Josh later shows Celeste to her room and gives her a uniform. She worries she's already messed up, but Josh reassures her, saying Richard might seem tough but is actually a good man still grieving his late wife. Celeste then meets Julie, Richard's girlfriend and business manager, who casually mentions that they've gone through many nannies before. Before leaving with Richard, she gives Celeste a warning: the kids can be quite a challenge. Sure enough, Lily and Max prove it right away. While helping Max with his school project, Celeste ends up with her hands glued together, thanks to their little prank. The kids cheer and reward themselves with cookies. When the doorbell rings, Celeste struggles to open it using her leg, and Charlie, who's seen their tricks before, isn't surprised. He helps her remove the glue and suggests taking the kids out for a walk. At the park, Celeste panics when the kids suddenly disappear. When she finally returns home, she finds the kitchen in total chaos. When she tries to scold Lily for sneaking off, the girl pretends they were making a surprise cake for her. The cake turns out to be a complete disaster. With no choice, Celeste starts cleaning up, only for Max to jump out and spray her with a water gun. Hiding in the closet, Celeste calls Renee in tears, ready to quit. Renee calms her down, reminding her that she always says the best way to connect with kids is through play. Encouraged, Celeste thanks her and ends the call. She grabs a water gun, turns the tables on Max, and starts chasing him around the house. Right then, Richard calls to check in. Still in the middle of the playful chaos, Celeste tells him everything's going perfectly fine. While she's distracted, Lily secretly turns up the oven temperature, making sure dinner burns. Richard arrives home just as Celeste crashes into his architectural model while chasing Max. Frustrated, he scolds her, and she apologizes again and again. Later, dinner ends up delayed thanks to Lily's prank. When Max refuses to eat anything but chicken nuggets, Celeste heads back to the kitchen to make some. While she's gone, the kids take the chance to badmouth her to Richard, saying she's bad at her job. Richard agrees to find a new nanny, but until then, Celeste stays. When she returns with Max's food, she also shows Richard a revised schedule that includes time for the kids to relax. He's surprised, and after tasting her cooking, he's impressed. Eventually, he agrees to test her new schedule for 2 weeks. The next morning, Celeste plays her guitar and sings a love song that catches Richard's attention. Soon after, the kids get ready for school and tell him they love him. Struggling to express his own feelings, he just wishes them a good day and leaves. At school, Max confides in Celeste that his dad stopped showing affection after their mom died. She comforts him, but Lily still keeps her distance. Celeste assures Lily she won't be around for long since this job isn't part of her career plan. Happy to hear that, Lily feels relieved they understand each other. After a long day, Celeste relaxes in the bath. Later, Richard comes home early and accidentally bumps into her while she's in a bathrobe. She explains she just took a short break, which he already saw on her social media. Surprised, she tells him she didn't think he used social media, given how negatively he's portrayed online. He tells her not to believe everything she reads and adds that she's welcome to take breaks whenever she needs. The next morning, Celeste is vacuuming when she accidentally sucks up one of Richard's cufflinks, mistaking it for dirt. When she learns it was a gift from his kids, she feels awful and offers to get it back. Richard also notices that she's added her own touch of style to the uniform, which makes him smile. Later, Celeste realizes the cookies she baked are missing, only to discover that Richard is the one who took them. The small moment makes her laugh. Another day, Richard tries to talk to her while she's cleaning the windows, but she can't hear him because she's wearing earplugs. When he finally taps her shoulder, she accidentally sprays cleaner into his eyes. Panicking, she rushes to help. Outside, Richard admits he just came to apologize for eating the cookies. Celeste apologizes too, saying she tends to get nervous around him. She wants him to see her as a good nanny and confesses she failed her probation as a teacher. Richard reassures her that she's doing a great job and that her schedule is working. When she asks why he's still looking for a replacement, he explains that he posted the ad when she first started, since no nanny has ever lasted long in his home. Celeste shares that she became a teacher to make a difference. She was inspired by how she was treated as a child and believes every kid can do great things if given the chance. Richard completely agrees. Days later, Max begins warming up to Celeste during their French lessons and gets thrilled when she offers to teach him guitar. But Lily isn't happy about it. Still, Max insists that Celeste isn't like the others. They can both tell she's different. Richard arrives just as Max excitedly tries to tell him about his lesson, but he cuts him off to take a business call, leaving the boy disappointed. During dinner, Celeste suggests planning an outdoor activity for the kids and invites Richard to join. Though hesitant because of work, he eventually gives in after the kids start begging. When he asks Julie to come along, she declines, saying her designer clothes aren't made for outdoor fun. Over the weekend, they all head to the park and have a great time. Even Lily joins in, which surprises everyone. Richard is impressed by Celeste's approach, and she explains that it's the same way her grandmother raised her. Curious, he asks about her parents, and Celeste shares that they passed away when she was little, but her grandparents took care of her. She adds that the park has always been her favorite place, a spot where she can forget everything and just enjoy the moment. Lily interrupts, asking for gelato, and they both agree. While eating, Richard mentions that his company recently bought the property of the museum they passed earlier, but it'll soon be demolished to build a high-rise condo. Celeste asks if his company ever tries to preserve old buildings, but before he can answer, Julie calls. Richard then notices Max standing too close to the pond and rushes to pull him back, accidentally dropping his phone into the water. Things get worse when he tries to grab it and ends up falling in himself, earning laughter from everyone. When Celeste moves to help, Richard playfully pulls her in two, and they start splashing the kids, turning it into a fun, carefree moment. When they finally climb out, the laughter fades as Richard and Celeste realize how close they're standing. Their eyes meet in silence, until Max interrupts, asking for more gelato. Back home, Richard thanks Celeste for the wonderful day and tells her to keep sharing her ideas for the kids, which makes her happy. Later, Celeste finds an unfinished drawing of a woman in Lily's room, but Lily quickly grabs it back. It's a portrait of their mother. Celeste praises her talent, but Lily doesn't believe she's any good and refuses to show her dad, thinking he wouldn't like it because he avoids anything that reminds him of their mom. She admits that Richard doesn't value art and only focuses on work and Julie. The next day, Julie and Josh arrive just as Celeste unveils her new idea for the kids, a creative space with different activity areas, something Richard approved earlier. The kids love it, but Richard looks uneasy and steps out to take a call with Josh. Confused, Celeste asks why, and Julie explains that Richard dislikes chaos and prefers things to be orderly. Later that day, Richard comes home to find Celeste repairing his damaged building model. Impressed by how well she's fixed it, he joins her to finish the work. As they paint side by side, Celeste gently wipes paint off his cheek, and their eyes meet in a quiet, charged moment. But before anything else happens, Julie interrupts, pulling Richard away for work. Over time, Celeste grows even closer to the children. Lily opens up about her mom, and Celeste comforts her. Meanwhile, during a dinner date, Julie hints about marriage, but Richard changes the topic, using work and the kids as an excuse. Later, Renee visits, and Celeste is delighted to see her. She meets the family, and they all enjoy a cheerful game night together. That evening, Renee shares some big news. Her cousin Carla, who runs an elementary school, admires Celeste's teaching methods and wants to offer her a probationary position. Celeste feels torn. She always planned to move on, but now the thought of leaving doesn't feel so simple. The next day, before heading out, Renee teases her to confess her feelings to Richard, but Celeste laughs it off, even though she knows it's true. Charlie overhears this, and Celeste eventually admits that falling for Richard was never part of her plan. Charlie reminds her that life doesn't always go as planned, it gives what's needed instead. He then drives Renee to the airport. Later, things take an unexpected turn when Julie suddenly announces her engagement to Richard. Celeste is stunned but forces a smile and congratulates them. The kids, clearly unhappy, give awkward congratulations of their own. After Richard leaves for a business trip, Julie hints that Celeste won't be needed once they're married and reveals her plan to send the kids to boarding school. Celeste is shocked and heartbroken by the idea. The next day, she gets even more upsetting news from Renee. Richard's company is planning to demolish her childhood park and report. Devastated, Celeste waits for Richard's return and pleads with him to reconsider. The kids overhear their conversation. Richard insists it's just business and too big of a deal to cancel. Celeste challenges him, asking if sending his children away is also just business. Richard admits he hasn't decided yet. Celeste tells him it's a huge mistake, especially now that the kids are finally healing. She reminds him that they need his love and time, pointing out how he never shows his feelings to them. He admits it's hard for him, because those were the last words he ever said to his wife. Frustrated, Richard tells her she's crossing the line and reminds her she's just an au pair. Deeply hurt, Celeste decides to accept the teaching job offer, knowing her time there is ending anyway. Later, she packs her things while the kids sadly watch. She reassures them that Richard means well and will always care for them. They give her a hand-drawn picture of their faces as a farewell gift. Touched, she promises to keep it forever and hugs them tightly. At the school fair, Richard is proud when Max plays the guitar and impresses everyone. He's equally moved when Lily unveils a painting of their mother. Overcome with emotion, he finally tells them he loves them and embraces them both. Lily wins first place in the art contest, and the teacher congratulates her but adds it's a shame she's transferring schools. Richard is shocked because he hasn't approved it yet. He's clearly unhappy with what Julie did. A few days later, Julie hands him the final contract for the park project, but he hesitates and can't bring himself to sign it. Realizing his hesitation is because of Celeste, Julie calmly ends their engagement. She admits that while they make great business partners, they're not right for each other. At home, Richard tries to comfort the kids, who are still upset about Celeste leaving. They tell him that Celeste had feelings for him, something he never realized. Though he thinks it might be too late, the kids encourage him to go after her. The next day, at the park and report, Celeste is with Renee when she suddenly spots Lily and Max running toward her. Surprised, she hugs them and asks why they're there. They tell her some good news, including their father's breakup with Julie. Moments later, Richard arrives. The kids give him a few encouraging words before heading off with Renee to explore. Richard tells Celeste that he's bought the park, but not to destroy it. He plans to preserve it just as it is. Celeste is pleasantly surprised. He apologizes for how things ended between them and admits he was afraid of his feelings. Finally, he confesses that he loves her and wants her to come back home so they can be a family again. Celeste agrees without hesitation, and the two shares a sweet and passionate kiss. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.